Today, President Trump and former Vice President Biden, their campaigns making another push in our state. 11 Alive Shanu Her giving us a look at the messages from both sides now during their campaign stops.
Both the Biden and Trump campaigns focused on Georgia today. Senator Kamala Harris went to Morehouse College in Atlanta, while Donald Trump Jr. started his day in Atlanta and ended it in downtown Macon. After making several stops around Atlanta, Senator Kamala Harris took the stage at Morehouse.
We got to come out and support and encourage people to vote.
I haven't seen so many people enthused in the campaign in many years.
Senator Harris criticized President Trump's handling of the COVID-19 pandemic.
He sat on that information and he did not tell the American people. Can you imagine what you might have done had you known what he knew on January 28th?
She called the pandemic a crisis and paired it with this year's racial tensions.
Public health crisis and economic crisis being compared to the Great Depression. A long overdue reckoning on racial injustice in America.
But while Senator Harris got her points across in Atlanta, the Trump campaign was also in Georgia. Donald Trump Jr. ended the day in Macon, energizing voters. It's his second trip to Georgia this election season.
We need you calling your friends. If you have friends in swing states, call them too. We're going to win, and we're going to make.
Before Senator Harris took the stage today at Morehouse College, several other Democratic candidates in Georgia spoke before her. They all echoed a similar message, hoping to flip the state blue.